All right, cyber traders, welcome on back here this Thursday morning, January 26th. Great to see all of us here. Andrea, Grant, John, the likes, all of us live here inside the Cyber Group Trading Room, and all of us just on social media, Facebook Live or YouTube. There you go. Now you should be able to see me, at least for all of us there. And on social media should be good. I hope I'm good there. Nevertheless, though, we should be good to go, folks. So with that in mind, there's a lot to talk about here heading into the market open. Kind of sprouted out of nowhere. The MLGO trade to begin ended up just completely taking off. Really quick, just for all of us here inside the trading room, are you folks able to see me, at least the webcam? I know you're able to see the screen. You could hear me. Looks like I'm blacked out webcam-wise. Uh-oh, having a little webcam issue? I tried being good to go there on webcam. Alrighty, we'll make do without. All right, so be it. I saw myself blacked out on social media, on YouTube and Twitter stream. Like, ah, damn. I checked myself. I was good to go, at least just before with that. So as long as you're able to hear me, which I believe you can, we are good. So with that, though, the MLGO trade, wow, what a run up the stock had, at least kind of out of nowhere. It was on our pre-market watch list, at least for all of us in social media. You folks could see our watch list posted right there. But nevertheless, though, it kind of just popped out of nowhere just prior to this meeting starting. I think the news that came up, MLGO announces securities purchase agreement for up to $3.2 million. That's actually news that came out back from Friday the 13th even. I'm just checking that now. So there's no real headline out on the stock. As for why it's up 73, 74%, at least it's not on Benzinga right now. So, just be wary of that. We don't need a headline in order to trade a stock. Clearly, it's evident just showing this run here. It's simple to say, but, it made for a nice steady run. It broke above 250 as resistance. It flipped that into support. It ran up nearly a 50-cent move up higher later. So, hey, definitely tradable, but after the open, just be wary of a little profit taking. It actually is shortable on my TradeStation platform. I'm not going to look to try and short it as it's clearly trending up. We all know that, right? But, if it ends up making lower highs, if it breaks below support, then that could be the catalyst behind a potential reversal or a short trade from there. So either way, we'll put this on our watch list at least to begin. All right. A couple of big winners out on this trade, at least. I saw Neil ended up doing really well. He got in and out for a few trades, or maybe one trade there just for a decent one. I know John was in and out a bunch of times. Victor, one of our new gold students, Victor ended up getting some money on that trade too. Andrea. So, a bunch of us did pretty well on that one. So, hey, just it goes back to what I at least say personally when I do the afternoon meetings. When a stock makes a giant run up or a huge push that we've traded previously in the past, well, if it can make a fraction of the type of run that it made at that point, right? So what you're looking at here is like just a big gap or like a big pre-market run up on MLGO. The stock actually tanked all the way back down this day. This is a real move. I wish I can go back on my chart and show you that, but it ended up completely running up and then dumping, reversing, and going right back down. So obviously, it's to say this is not a swing trade. This is a day trade, right? So even if it does give us another opportunity, what we're looking for right now, right? Clearly, history has shown that that has not really been the case whenever it's made a big pre-market push. So we'll hope to see support build over time, and we'll see where this could take us. Outside of MLGO, though, I mean, hey, in pre-market this morning, albeit a little expensive, how can we not focus on Tesla? It was up over 6-7% early in pre-market trading hours coming off of earnings anyway. And if you're not going to look to trade Tesla, the stock, it's not even to say that trade the option. Actually, now they have that single stock ETF, TSLL. Hey, we don't really look to trade ETFs often here. The reason is that it's a lot more difficult to apply level 3 and level 4 to it. If you do have level 4 bookmap, it'll make it a little bit easier for you to try and follow. So if you're an experienced day trader like Chuck or Mark, one of our students here, and if I didn't shout you out there, if you do well on them, then certainly you as well, right? But just saying like, hey, unless if you already have good experience trading these ETFs, I would not be as keen to follow them. Nevertheless, though, when Tesla ended up breaking above big resistance off of 155 this morning, that's when it ended up taking off. So let me bring up level 4 while I'm at it. I don't have that ETF up, mind you, but I have the stock up, and we'll show that. So you could see it had a tough time trying to break over 155 early just because that iceberg order was out there. And then shortly after the 8 o'clock move, we ended up seeing it make a big squeeze up. So, it was kind of something I was anticipating, at least the test of that level, perhaps a false breakout and a pull back down. So you have to, be wary of that. But man, once this ended up popping 155, there was no looking back. It just goes back to what we look for. a big move shortly after. So for a $155 stock, I mean, yeah, you definitely want that big move to be, more than $1 within 30 minutes time. So once it ended up breaking higher, it ended up making a much better run. But yeah, TSLA we'll put on our watch list here. Obviously, mega cap company or large cap company, either way you call it. We'll focus on that, and then also TSLL, the ETF. So, both of them together we'll put on our watch list here. I know there's the short one. I think it's TSLS. We're not going to focus on all of them, just those two, at least for right now, the ones that you could buy. All right, or go long on, I should say. All right, so nevertheless, though, let's keep going. MLGO, we had the Tesla trades, a couple that didn't work out in our direction, right? Let's just go over those. AUVI, I'd called this out just once it ended up making this initial pop. There really wasn't much moving at that point. MLGO didn't pop at that time. So, I'm hunting, I'm looking for that trade. And I ended up seeing AUVI begin to squeeze up. It was like even right here. So just said it was worth watching. Now, at that stage, though, what I'm looking for on this is I was looking for a little chart resistance here. It popped above this. I'm looking for that to become support. So over time, it tried. But just again, you're looking for that big move. For a dollar stock, a few cents, you can make some money on that, but that's not really a big move. I wanted a better reaction. It didn't give it to me, and over time, this thing ended up just completely falling through support, and now at this point, it's a dud. So, yeah, we're not going to really look to follow that one as much now. Other ones from the pre-market watch list that we had, at least that one was after 8 o'clock. The APPH trade, we were hopeful for this at least after 8 o'clock to make the higher high. It was building a little support, higher lows at least going into 730. It looked a little spotty on the chart, but I was hoping for a little bit better of a push up from that point after 8. Just never got it. So, now at this point, that APPH trade, we're going to write off. One last one, the OPGN. Again, really quick, folks. In terms of following a stock, it made a nice pop. We had called it out prior to 8:30, like, oh, it just made a big pop. We posted the bookmap link in there. Now, on this trade, there really wasn't a clear big level. You would assume 250 to be that big level. But truth be told, there was like no volume on the order book there at 250 from previous at that time. So once it popped, I mean, hey, my eyes were on it. I was going to look to try and follow up on it. But there's like no big level to work off of there. If there's nothing I could truly grasp from that point, then I'm not going to try and just go into it. Now, it could pop up higher, and then from that point, I'll try and react to a new level or a support level I could follow from that stage. But otherwise, hey, if there's nothing showing on level 4 popping up as a big iceberg, maybe if there was a 70,000 share iceberg on the bid that popped up after it had popped here on the chart, well, that could lead me to potentially jump in. If there was an iceberg on the ask that got broken through resistance, like a breakout, that could lead me into the trade. But it's also to say, though, if it's not going to make the big move you're looking for either way, don't stay in the trade and hope for it to. Popped up, it's got to make a continued push up higher or show us something. Ended up completely pulling back, unfortunately. So, this one as well as the AUVI, like we called them out, made a nice little push up at first, but it didn't stick. So you don't want to get stuck holding on to that trade just afterwards. And it's easy for me to say that kind of after the fact, right? It's like kind of playing couch quarterback there, right? But, I've been doing this 8.5 years now. Fausto, 35 years himself. And a lot of us here have a wealth of experience that, could tell, some new students here otherwise, like, yeah, I mean, you got to get out of that trade if it's not working out in your favor. There's plenty of other fish out there in the sea to catch. It's a marathon today, not a sprint. It was only 8:30 in the morning. Market closes at 4 p.m., right? So, there's going to be plenty of other trades out there. All right, Chuck getting some money on that TSLL trade, about 20 cents himself. Nice catch from Chuck. All right, so let's go from top to bottom here, folks. Let's just see what else we can grab here going into the open. A couple of cheapies here, and I'll tell you what. I mean, with all these cheap stocks that like exploded the last week and a half, OTRK, yeah, the IMBS trade. I'm not gonna disrespect these cheapies here. I'll at least look. So, UTRS, it's making a rounded top for the most part, pulling back. Maybe if it could hold support off of 50 cents after the open, it could be something to keep an eye on. BuzzFeed, I mean, hey, this was a dud. This was a dud after 8 o'clock at least. In pre-market early on, it was looking really strong. And BuzzFeed is like one of those like blogging websites. I don't really know what else to call it. It's like a major website on the internet, like blogging type of website. They have all those like stupid lists, like top 10 this, top 10 that. Now, it's a meme stock. It didn't really pump when AMC and GameStop did, but I will kind of tag this in with one of those like internet meme stocks, social media meme stocks. Now, I was hoping for a better run for that reason, largely, not only, but largely. And I was looking for the break over 145 and then from there 150. So going into 830, it started to wiggle up. Same thing happened here on that OPGN. Same thing happened here on that AUVI. If it's not going to make that big move that you're looking for, it's going to make a big move. I don't like tossing the G word around too often, guarantee, but I guarantee it. It's going to make a big move, right? So with that, ended up dropping right back down, hit the reverse button, and from there pulled back. So, I mean, hey, it's up a lot still, up over 38%. It's on a really good order book. It's just not really going in the direction that we want just yet. So be pretty cautious on it, but I'll still put this on our main list. I feel like there could be a chance for another run up later on. XM, I thought it was like XM radios, but Sirius XM, right? All right, so XM is, what is it? Qualtrics Inc. Never heard of the company, but ended up making a nice push early this morning. And for now, it seems a little bit more active here at this point going into the open. The order book is still really thin, so got to be careful on that. But I'll put this on our main watch list here. I do want to just actually check Benzinga just to see if there's any headline out on this trade. If there's not, that makes me a little bit more cautious or a little bit more wary of it. But yeah, it just looks like earnings. XP reporting higher after the company announced better than expected quarterly earnings. So, and they issued guidance above estimates, so that's even better. So, nice little push. TCBP. So going back to my daily chart here, the stock ended up making a big squeeze for us back over the last week and a half. And again, it's not a swing trade, it's a day trade. So, there's going to be specific stocks that we'll talk to you folks coming up tomorrow. At least any of our platinum and diamond students or those that have access to the Swing Trading Pro course. We'll continue that class tomorrow, and we'll look to go over a couple of trades that I have my eye on going into the next 1 to 2 months now at this point here at the end of January. I told you this is like now the time where I'm starting to focus more on that. So, definitely Shopify, Mara, Uber, those that we had already talked about, those are still in play. But, we'll go over a couple more at least in a moment. Either way, getting back to this isn't a day. This isn't a swing trade. This is a day trade. So, if it does pop, then we'll call it out. But either way, here in pre-market, this is not offering us up much of anything. Now for Chuck, who's been on cold, this has been a beautiful swing trade, right? Now, Chuck had mentioned before, he recommends for everyone to follow it. I don't recommend for everyone to follow it, Chuck. It's an ETF. And not only that, but the order book is even less liquid now compared to the last week or so. It's a lot more thinned out. If you in particular or others want to follow it that do well on it, by all measures, by all means, right? But for new students joining us, for anyone that doesn't really follow an ETF, this is not the one for you. Please, I'm telling you, it's a great swing trade. And if you want to focus on it as a swing trade consistently, I'd still offer that to you. I mean, it's on a beautiful trend up, and perhaps there's not really much stopping it really from continuing, it seems, just looking at how steady it is. But, as a day trade, I would not recommend it to many. So there are others, even hell, that TSLL ETF that we just said, that is a better one. We'll see if there's anything else looking a bit better right here, though, at least across the board. We got to put the instructor hat on, Chuck. My apologies. I know that you do well on it. I hope you do well on it today. Never hate, all love, but just trying to look out for all of our members here. CVNA. Now, looking at this trade, this could be a tease. So just because it looks good here doesn't mean that I'm in love with it. I'm going to put it on our list, so I'm hopeful. It's one I'm pretty familiar with. I've done well on it over the last month or so, but it could be a tease, right? So I'm always, realistic. It could make a head fake here and just dump off after, break below 688 and pull back. Looks like 680, 688, 693, a couple of bigger volume levels at least going into the open. 7, I would assume, to be the bigger level above all else. But, just see what happens around that 690, 688 area. There we go. Lovely friend of mine, Neo, Chris, saying Neo moving nicely as well. Absolutely. It's now making a better move actually. In pre-market I saw it up over 5% and I was like, it's like just like kind of choppy. Like it's just not really going anywhere. It's like grinding on up. I really did not have much interest on Neo before this meeting started. Now, all right, it's showing me a little bit more. Not only am I going to put this on the main list because it's just tradable, but yeah, this will probably be like on the top of my personal list here going into the open. So if you're going to ask me like, hey, Josh, what are you looking at going into the open? What are the 2 or 3 stocks that you're going to be looking at? I can't give you all 2 or 3 just yet, but Neo is probably one of those 2 or 3. All right, let's keep it going though. I mean, hopefully it doesn't become choppy again and offers us little because there's other Chinese stocks that could be moving. Billy gapped up, not really moving though that much. Lee, same deal. It's like kind of inching up right now. Neo seems to be the more active trade compared to all of them. Got XPEV. All right, that one's looking pretty decent. I may have skipped over that actually. Up over 6%. It's moving the same as Neo. So just so you know, if I put Neo on a watch list, XPEV is often going to be tagged along with it. Those two are really well like tied together. Lee is in the same industry that can move with it, but I always feel like Neo and XPEV are kind of like twins. All right, so let's hop over to the loser side here, folks, seeing if there's anything looking just as good. Current time right now, 9:17. So got to make sure I have enough time just to prep up going into the open as well as you. Make sure that you know where your levels are, at least heading into the open. We put a great emphasis on that in class yesterday, finishing up the phase 2 curriculum. All right, what else we got? What else we got? Boil, which goes against cold, so I'm not going to be too particular about the ETFs as much. I mean, if cold reverses, then Boil can make a nice squeeze up, but that's just kind of saying that from the hip. So, man, I'll tell you, there's not much else on the loser side here, folks, and that's all right. That's good by me. I'll take it. Anything else up, down, left, right, more than 5%, folks? Just type it in the chat boards here. Just let me know. Wish I had my webcam up. I started the meeting off with webcam and it blacked out. So I don't know what happened there, but we'll be back up tomorrow. Actually, for all of us on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitter, social media alike, what I'm actually going to do in the meantime, at least, is post a link there for you folks. I'm personally actually going to be on Timing Research, nice platform that where I'm going to be talking more about iceberg orders, big levels, and actually how it relates to swing trading. I posted that in the chat for all of those streams on Facebook Live, Twitter, and YouTube. I'm going to be on at 11 o'clock Eastern time there, so I look forward to seeing you there. Just click that link to register, just fill out like your email, and you'll be able to at least get the invitation to join. For all of us inside the live trading room, I will post that just after we finish up like all the good stuff here for us at 10:30. All right. From Grant, MLGO, and Neo, all of those already we have on our main list. That's actually at the top, both of those. Yeah, the MLGO I'll be likely following along with the Neo trade right at 9:30 when the market opens up. Those two I'm sure to be following. All right, so from Chris, FFIE to wrap up. Yeah, it's squeezing back on up, cheapy, but has made a big move back from Tuesday's trading and then from Wednesday yesterday, a pop and drop. So right now it's on the way back up towards $1 again. I don't hate it. So you know what? We don't have too big of a list at this point. That doesn't mean we're going to add much else, but FFIE will make the cut. I said earlier, I don't want to disrespect these cheapies too much anymore. After what we had the last week and a half on all of those, it's not really our primary focus, but hey, this is something we got to keep an eye on here, right? All right, folks, for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, once again, if you wanted to join me at 11 o'clock Eastern time, specifically this morning, I'm going to be on Timing Research, big platform talking about finance, the whole market alike, different presenters going over their perspectives of the market today, including myself. So I'll be on at 11 o'clock Eastern time. I post the link inside the stream. Obviously, it's posted there, but if you're on the recording, that may not be applicable to you. But if you're on the live chat right now, just click that link right there in the chat, and you'll be able to just register for that. And then again, for all of us in the trading room, I will look to post that later on. All right. I'm going to post the list, though, first for all of us there right now for Grant, Chris, Mark, Steve, Lawrence, John, etc. I look forward to talking to you folks coming up just right when the market opens up. All right. Talk to you all soon.